I'm very happy to have Marte Fredriksen with me here today. Marte, you are now a young adult working as a model, but 10 years ago you were a very quiet child in school struggling with selective mutism. How were you then met by teachers and others in your community?
It was very difficult. I feel lucky because what Maggie just said about how she explains how we are is very correct, and I've never heard anyone except my mom speak that way. I was lucky because I felt like she always saw me and she pushed me in the right way, and we like did it together. But if the schools and the kindergarten would have the information like what she's saying, my experience would be completely different, and I might not have struggled for 17, 18 years. My experience was in kindergarten. I could fall and hit myself like really hard, and I would not cry until I was in the car with my mom. Like I had such like scary control of my emotions, which if anyone has worked with kids, or have kids, they do everything from their emotions. Like they don't have that much control. It's not natural. At school, my first and second grade, I was lucky because I had a teacher that really wanted to understand. So she and my mom had like a small book that she would write if I was with my friend on the weekend, and I knew that she would ask me at school if I was there. I could say yes. I could, I was prepared. But as I get older, I get different teachers. They didn't understand. They didn't know what it was, or maybe they didn't take the time, because as the quiet kid, you are very easy overlooked because there might be other kids yelling, screaming for your attention. And I'm not screaming for your attention, but I need your attention and I need you to see me. But how can I tell you? We just need more understanding and probably more resources, because it's difficult as a teacher. My mom is a teacher too. And it's difficult to have 5 screaming kids that you need to take control of over, and then you have one quiet kid that also needs your attention. So, yeah.
Can you tell us, was there a notion of selective mutism back then? Did some in your surroundings have the understanding of what kind of difficulties you really had?
I got the diagnosis in kindergarten, but the understanding was, I didn't feel like they really understood. It was my mom and me, and she was. Now that I'm an adult myself, I can imagine like the stress, the everything that she had to take on her own shoulders, because it's difficult to try to explain to someone as well when they don't want to take the time to understand, or it doesn't make sense to them, So it was not a lot of understanding, and she had a lot of meetings with the school. The teacher would be like, "Oh, Marta hasn't done her homework." But it's only because I didn't say, "Hi, I've done it. Let me show you." And she asked like, "Okay, but have you checked that she did or not?" And she was like, "No," but she doesn't want to. And it's the understanding of what is my struggle.
Can you tell us how did you manage in your case to move on from those difficulties to the point where you are now, sitting here in front of us, speaking in English?
I think one thing is that I always been really stubborn, and I always had like the inner fight with myself, that I really wanted to do like different things. I wanted to see the world, all of these things, and I knew in my head, if I can't get over this, then how can I do it? But my number one has been my mom, because she helped me when no one understood. She always understood. She never asked, "Why don't you speak?" She always said, "This is how we can do it. Let's try to do it together." And I always knew what we were doing. We were fighting together, and we would do small things like go to a cafe, and we would start with standing in the line, and she would ask like, "Do you want a hot chocolate?" And then I would try to nod in front of the person, and then we would take another step further, like to say yes, and I would be able to say yes. And then I also remember one time I had this like revelation in my head. I was trying to do it on my own this time, and I was standing in front of the guy at the cafe, and I was thinking like, you don't know that I don't speak, so I can speak to you, because you're so used to everyone like, you become the girl that don't speak. And so if you speak now, everyone's going to be like, what? Like, give you so much attention. You don't want the attention. And then I was like, oh, you don't know that? I can talk to you. And yeah, from there on, it always started getting easier to talk to strangers. And I mean, I think that's a good explanation as to why.
So what's your message to families, kids, youth out there struggling with overcoming this difficulty? What would you say to them?
I think first of all, you're not alone, and you can get through it. And it's a challenge. It's not like it doesn't go one way. It goes like this, but don't give up. And you just have to keep challenging yourself and do it together. Like if you have a child that struggles, you have to support.
So what's your life? How is your life now?
My life is good. I think because I think I am how I am also because when I started challenging myself, I noticed that, oh, I can do this. So now I love to challenge myself, like in every aspect in my life, because it's kind of like I've gotten the feeling that it's like a reward. I can do anything because I have done this. One thing that most people don't have to fight, like to talk. Everyone could talk, I couldn't talk. And when you can do something like that, I mean, it feels like you can do anything. So it's a really good feeling. And I also want to say, because I think it's important, because selective mutism is, you know, oh, it's a bad thing, but I feel like it also gave me a lot of good things, because I feel like because of that, I am a very good listener. I'm very good at seeing people for who they are. I can read people very easily. I feel like we have a lot of empathy and we have a lot of understanding, and we have that because when everyone's always talking, we're looking, we're seeing, we're feeling, we're doing all of these things that no one else is. Like I could sit in the classroom and I could see that my teacher was having a bad day. I can see all of these things that kids, you don't notice it because you're just a kid. But when you have all these other things that you have so much time to observe, and I think, yeah, it comes good things out of it as well. The person you become because of it is also good, you know. Yeah.
But do you ever experience setbacks? Is it like, I mean, it's normal to feel uncomfortable in some settings if you're going to speak in front of an audience or in a language you don't really master. Do you ever experience that, or is it all gone?
I think it's more fun.
It's
I
just
think it's
fun.
more like today. Before today, my mom was nervous, you know. But she's nervous. She's nervous on my behalf, and then she's like, "Are you not nervous?" And I'm like, "No, of course." It's not an everyday thing, but I think it's fun because I like the feeling of challenging myself, because I have proved that I can do the things that seem like a challenge in a way, if you understand. So I don't mind it. And also I feel like because I now can speak, then I want to use my voice, you know.
And what did you think when you heard Maggie's approach to this and her whole system of how to help these kids? I
think it's amazing, and I think it's like my first time hearing it, because she hasn't had it, but the way she talks about it is like she did. It's like she was in my head, you know, with the antennas, with everything you say, with the shyness. Like my number one thing, I hated being called shy. And I was told every day, oh, she's super shy. She's so shy. But inside I was like, I'm not shy. And then if you get told something every single day, like as humans, you're going to start to believe it. And so I was questioning myself. Is this me? Am I shy? Is this going to be my life for the rest of my life? Should I just accept it? Then I can't do any of my dreams because I'm so shy. And yeah, so it's exactly my thoughts. We're not shy. And everything she said, I feel like if this gets out to the schools, the kindergartens, everyone that can help, it's so important because we need it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Marte. I think you have discovered a kind of a super strength in yourself. So good luck further on with that.
Thank you.